Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am disgraced comedian Winslow Dumaine, sitting here with internet historian Jay Brandstetter. Jay, how have you been, man?
I've had a pretty eventful couple weeks, actually. I got my hair cut and my beard trimmed for the first time in a couple years. I quit vaping, at least nicotine, which has been both easier than I was expecting and also having more knock-on effects than I thought. But, glad to get done with. So for those of you who were annoyed by those times when I would sound like I was talking through a marshmallow or something, now those parts are no longer going to be in our recordings. It's all going to be pure, unimpeded mouth space.
Yeah, I still vape, but I just vape Gatorade. I just have like a Gatorade nebulizer that I inhale, and now my sweat is blue, like in the commercials.
No, the nebulizer is built. It has like a little cap, like a screw. So you just take the cap off and screw the nebulizer onto the Gatorade bottle, and then you're just good to go. Like
yeah. I put Gatorade in my humidifier, so now my house is faster.
My Gatorade hot box. It's just
exactly. Yeah, just like a nice frost glacier fog in my house. Yeah. My electrolytes are fucking crazy. My house is sweaty as shit. Yeah, that's good, man. Well, you have less hair and more lung. That's what I'm always looking for in a man. So that sounds great. I did the Oddities and Curiosities show in Milwaukee. It was the first show to that I had my game available, which is cool. Sells well in person, man. I sold. I think I brought 12 copies, and I sold 12. Which is good. I also, I didn't, who cares? I didn't technically sell out because I did go back home to get more, thinking that Sunday would do better, but Sunday was Easter Sunday, so it didn't really work out. Who cares? But yeah, so that's good. And, got some new, motion going on in the new game, called Project Zersetzung. If you, are on the Discord, you've seen all about that. I'm also gonna get it playable online for everybody soon. So if you wanted to be a part of the playtesting group for the new project, just let me know. Hop on the Discord and I'll be posting about it there. Also, I mean, you've seen a bit of it. I ordered the new merch for the new game, and it's gonna be fun. It's real dark and real weird, and I don't know. I'm really excited to share those when they arrive, whenever that'll be.
They are super cool. I'm very excited about the Steam building behind this new idea of yours.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's like I'm really diving intentionally headlong into this thing of just like, I don't know, people seem to like it. Let's see what happens, So, I mean, the other news is really just like all of the horrifying insanity that is continuing to happen all over the world. We didn't nuke Iran last night. And now a bunch of Zionists on Twitter are like disappointed that people weren't like turned into shadows. So it's just a weird time to be talking about Beanie Babies, but fucking here we are, dude.
Yeah. Well, I guess in one way you could think about it is that Beanie Babies are a great reminder that nothing lasts forever, that everything is transient, that as bad as things are, something else will come along eventually. So maybe that's one way of looking at it in a nicer way.
Yeah, Beanie Babies and the Nation of Israel handshake meme of nothing lasts forever and responsible for untold violence. So that's our look at it. I've started to see some Beanie Baby content pop up on my feed. I think just because we talked about it, that like, I mean, we'll get into it. They went some wild places with this novelty collectible bear situation. But I don't know, unless you have anything more you want to open up, I think we can just get cracking.
Before we get in there, I will say, like, we didn't mean to mention this, or is that we've referenced an episode about the oatmeal a few times in the past. That is our first real lost episode due to a technical issue on my end, because that was the first one we recorded after Fred. I lost my side of it, so we can't really release that one. But we're gonna redo the material again when we think we get to be fresh and we can do it justice, because it's a very fun story. But yeah, just to clear up any confusion about those in the past. Also, thank you to the people on Patreon who asked about that. It's glad to know that I can help out with that.
Yeah, and also, hey, thank you to everyone on the Patreon, just in general. And if you want to help out with the pod, $1, one fucking dollar, 100 pennies. You can't buy anything for $1 anymore except us. Except Jay and Steve. All of that money goes to Jay and Steve, but you get all of the hours and hours and hours of other episodes that we've done. Tons of little behind the scenes stuff. You get to see trail cam footage of me feeding. You get all sorts of weird shit on that pod. So it's I'm from the internet. You can find it on Patreon. It's just IFTI, I think, but we call the pod I'm from the internet. So yeah, check it out. Link below. We love you. Thank you all. That's all for me.
Awesome, cool. So yeah, the Beanie Babies. I was very pleasantly surprised at how much there was to this story, because our sort of inception of this was I had sent you a pic, like the I called the Beanie Baby of the end times, where it was a Beanie Baby called The End, and it's like pitch black.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Beanie Baby that's just like a regular bear with glassy eyes and a glassy nose and no mouth. It is pitch black and it has a gold bow tie, and embroidered onto the Beanie Baby it just says The End, and it's got a little firework. I mean, like, yes, with the firework, it is like very clearly like that's all, folks, like celebrating the end of the whole franchise. But I do think it's fascinating that the big ad for it just says The End Bear, and then here it says The End the Bear, which is definitely it is me and you together. It's pitch black and bear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the End the Bear is the Don't Dead Open Inside for this podcast.
Yes, yeah, very much. But this is surprisingly not nearly as dark as these bears tend to go.
Yeah, and there's a little, as you learn, Beanie Babies come with a little poem about the creature that they are. And the one for the end that we have here, it says, "All good things come to an end. It's been fun for everyone. Peace and hope are never gone. Love you all and say so long."
Yep.
So yeah, just literally being like, so long, like The End. This is, without context, this is very bleak and kind of spooky.
Yeah, it is. And it's also like, how often does a company get to do that? Like, it makes me think of that Onion article from forever ago of company reaches goals, shuts down. Where it's like Dell's goal was to like revolutionize the home computing market, and once they decided they do that, they just liquidate everything. They're like, well, that was our goal, so our company is over. But yeah, like, I mean, obviously, I think the brand name Beanie Baby still exists and TY still exists and all that. But to just come out and be like, all right, you know what? It's only downhill from here, so peace. It's just a bold move. I don't know. They really took it behind the shed and shot it. So
I wasn't super familiar with that part of this story because, this was happening throughout the late 90s. So I was in like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade when this was happening. I was very aware of Beanie Babies, like on the ground level, but I wasn't aware of all this greater stuff happening behind the scenes. So this is a very interesting insight into it also kind of explains some adults I knew growing up, I feel.
Did you notice that it says on the end, it says date introduced August 31st, 1999, date of birth, none? Yeah, okay, so you did see that.
Yes, date of birth, none. That is so spooky. That's so good.
Yeah.
It's just the word none.
What's the proximity between this and Columbine? Because Columbine was in April, so Columbine happened and then Beanie Babies ended. That's a terrible, terrible year for America, man. You're losing a lot.
Yeah, 1999 is a transformative year for a lot of stuff, including Beanie Babies.
Yes, that is my a peek behind the curtain for me is like that's how I process time. Where people are like, "Well, this happened in 1999." I'm like, "Oh yeah, year that Columbine happened." Like that's the linchpin that I tie it all together. Yeah,
I still think of 1999 as the year The Matrix came out.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean that all of those things are culturally tied together. But yeah, sick. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it.
Yeah, but I guess before we do, I do want to right out at the top shout out my primary source for this episode. The book, The Great Beanie Baby Bubble, Mass Delusion and the Dark Side of Cute by Zach Bissonette. I read through that, and it was a primary source for a lot of this document. So if I'm quoting something and I don't say what it's probably from this book.
Yeah. It's a black cover with a just a close-up photo of a bear, Beanie Baby bear looking at you. It's very ominous for what it is, I guess.
Yeah, try to make this cute little thing as like spooky and like ominous as possible. It's very fun. Also, I enjoy like the on-brand Beanie Baby style rainbow letters spelling out the Great Beanie Baby Bubble. Like it is it's the mixture of ominousness and whimsy is very good. Also, just Beanie Baby Bubble. That's like a Baby Billy's Bible bonkers type tongue twister right there.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, good book. I enjoyed it. Also, a lot of details that did make it into this, so I can recommend that. But yeah, so our intro. So first off, just in case some of our younger listeners might not have been around for this, what even are Beanie Babies? I found a great explainer from Dave Barry to get one of our recurring figures on the show back on here.
For the benefit of those of you who live in primitive rainforest tribes, I should explain that Beanie Babies are little beanbag critters with cute names, such as, these are real names, Smoochie the Frog, Spunky the Cocker Spaniel, Claude the Crab, Weenie the Dachshund, Floppity the Bunny, Tank the Armadillo, and Chops the Lamb. Beanie Babies are manufactured in China, the brutal dictatorship for a U.S. company called Tai Inc., which is named after the owner, Tai, the extremely rich person. Beanie Babies were originally intended as fun playthings for children, but as the old saying goes, whenever you have something intended as innocent fun for children, you can count on adults to turn it into an obsessive, grotesquely over-commercialized hobby with the same whimsy content as the Baton Death March. So now Beanie Babies are big business, with grown men and women fighting over them and paying thousands of dollars for certain rare models, such as Peanut, the royal blue elephant, not to be confused with Peanut, the light blue elephant, which only a total loser would pay thousands of dollars for.
You better believe we're going to learn about Peanut the elephant later.
I have here an Associated Press story stating that in Andover, Massachusetts, police caught somebody trying to sell a stolen Happy the Hippo for $900. The story also states that a couple in Nashua, New Hampshire, allegedly bought Beanie Babies with forged checks, then sold them and used the proceeds to buy heroin. Fortunately, not all of the people involved in this craze are criminal heroin addicts. Many of them are merely insane. If you don't believe me, you should read their discussions on the internet.
Yeah, that sounds like Dave Barry. But he's not wrong in this regard.
I think this is a good encapsulation, I feel, of like the popular conception at the time. Plus, that does, right at the edge, like this is something that was very much tied with the conception of the internet. Like, weird Beanie Baby people are just sort of part of the background radiation of the internet at that time.
Yeah, and it's maybe it's just our experience of like time dilation, but it seems like Beanie Babies were big, huge, and then they stopped, right? And then it became kind of like an Enron joke, where like prior to Enron's collapse, some people knew about Enron, but then it became really big, and then it completely ripped itself apart. And so like now we don't remember all of like the parts of the regular big company story, but we do remember like Beanie Babies are like a stand-in for a worthless commodity that people wasted their money on, right?
Yeah, they very much become shorthand for that.
Yeah, and so I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm 34 and I don't pay attention to these things in like intentionally, but like the other things that everyone is screaming about how this is the new thing that's going to save you, that's going to be like your retirement, like Labubus in general, and also NFTs and other collectible items that everyone is saying like this is the new thing. Even old like Pokemon cards, like pack pulling and stuff like that, those kind of seem like flashes in the pan. Beanie Babies were like, it feels like they were doing shit for a while.
Yeah, that was one of the things that surprised me about this is that how early they started. Like Ty, the company, started in the 80s. It took them a decade to even start making the Beanie Babies. So it was interesting to see how slow this built up and then how quickly it all exploded when things lined up. Honestly, it was a much more interesting story than I was expecting. That's why, sort of, I guess, a peek behind the curtain. Yeah, the way this episode started out was I was sending Winslow the End Bear and some other ones that we're going to talk about in here, and he was like, "This is fun." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like an internet fad. I should dig into that." And then it wound up. I was like, "Oh yeah, we got that episode out of here." So it's good to get to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a whole nightmare, and there's there's facets to it, you know.
One of my sort of takeaways from this is just that Beanie Babies, like, they kind of represent a lot of the evil that has defined the 21st century so far. Like, it's a product all about artificial scarcity. They are speculative assets. They cynically monetize causes and tragedies. They push gambling on kids. There's a worship of businesses and their owners. With the big tag on their ears, it says Ty. Ty is the name of the guy who owns the company. We'll learn about Ty Warner as we go through this. There's also like direct sales and culty MLM behavior with how they sell to small businesses directly instead of a traditional, although now they don't really do that anymore. And then also just in general, there's sort of like a lifestyle and community that you sold with it. Like if you were a Beanie Baby collector, like you could get at newsstands a magazine for Beanie Baby collectors, and you could like find a local club or something. A lot of people like who were retired or who were caretakers. That's why they would get really into this, because it was like a way of getting out of the house. And I could see I see it analogous to a lot of modern stuff like that.
I read through that list and I thought, what do you mean pushing gambling on kids? Because don't you just go to the store and buy whatever Beanie Baby you want? But is that referring to like how you get a random Beanie Baby with your Happy Meal?
No, they were using artificial scarcity. They used they would do what they would call retiring, where they would stop manufacturing a Beanie Baby at a certain time. So when it was retired, no more were made. Kind of like magic cards. So the old ones would become like much more valuable. So it was kind of like, as we'll see, sort of a thought process was, snap up the new Beanie Babies as soon as you can, because one of these is probably going to be the next one that has some weird thing that makes it valuable. So it was always kind of like not gambling in the sense like Pokemon card booster packs or gambling, but gambling in the sense like the stock market is gambling.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's everything's a fucking gamble when you're trying to do this kind of thing. Like the speculative markets, because it's just, you have no idea what's going to be valuable anymore. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of all I have.
Yeah. And I was also surprised, too, because when I was researching this, I found multiple sources that said that Ty.com, the Beanie Babies website, was the first major direct business-to-consumer retail website ever. Like, I went and pulled up so that, like, they were online before most other toy companies were, and they were also addressing it directly to customers in a way that was very forward-thinking for the time it came out, and also has a very cute origin story. Yeah,
it's like, have you ever seen or heard about, there's that Lululemon documentary, can't remember the name, but it's probably the only Lululemon doc out there. But yeah, part of the thing was that, like, as an MLM, you're buying from like girl boss kind of situations, not from like necessarily a store. It's not Lululemon, it's LuLaRoe, because Lululemon's like the whole thing. Sorry, LuLaRoe? Yes, I think. Whatever. And so, like, in order to become a LuLaRoe seller, you would buy like a $10,000 cube of like they like you see them in parking lots, like just a cube of just like leggings, and then you would have to sort them and figure out which like patterns you got, and like they were just like random, just put them in the fucking thing and just, and then you would buy that, and then they would ship that cube to your house, and then you would like try to like sell them for a profit, right? And they would also leave those cubes out in the rain, and so a lot of people would like open up their pants cube and find them like just bristling with rot. But yeah, and so that's kind of how, from what I remember, some of the Beanie Baby stuff would work. Is like you couldn't just go online and buy $7.99, get the exact one you wanted, because they were selling to the major manufacturer or the major retailers, so they would be buying flats of them at a wholesale rate. So yeah, but I will obviously get into that.
Yeah. And also, like, another interesting connection I wasn't super aware of was eBay. The early days of eBay, a lot of their business, just in terms of volume, was Beanie Babies. A quote I found it's from the eBay's 1998 annual Securities and Exchange Commission report. That quote said, during the 3 months ended December 31st, 1998, we had at times approximately 7% of our listings involved in Beanie Babies. So 7% of like holiday season 1998 eBay was just Beanie Babies.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember watching people get fucking punched in the mouth for a Tickle Me Elmo. Like a toy that your child will play with a couple times and then throw away and then play with the box. And you will get annoyed by the sound of that little like chiptune scream laugh that Elmo does. Like, I don't know. It's just fascinating to me, like, how we all know about how much we can like panic and dive into these what's the word, frenzies, I guess, of like consumerist frenzies, and we know that, and then we still do it every time, you know?
Yeah, and like this one, it doesn't. You have the excuse of being aimed at kids because almost everyone who became a big collector was an adult. You know, as we'll see. This is that's one of the interesting things about this too. Is something that starts out ostensibly targeted at children, and then becomes more and more a thing that is just adult speculators, and less a thing that kids actually want or play with.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be so hard to make just the right amount of money off of this, because people were making money, you know, people were making gobs of money. But then they, in pursuit of making even more money, then they overinvest and then they lose all their money, because obviously nobody's buying Beanie Babies for $900 anymore. Maybe, I don't know. There's probably a stinger at the end of the episode where you show me that they're actually worth something because they are made out of like like virgin styrofoam or whatever the fuck. But you know, because like
pre-nuclear styrofoam.
Yeah, exactly. There's no strontium 90 in it. That's one thing I notice is that like if I'm buying cloth products from my manufacturers, they send them to me on like the most like quadruple recycled cardboard boxes you've ever seen, where the cardboard is like gossamer thin and already like it looks like you left it in the rain, like it's been creased in every possible way. But when I got my games in, this cardboard that they packaged all the boxes in is like fucking buck turgid. It is erect. It is the strongest virgin cardboard you've ever seen. So life will give you strange appreciations. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Kind of builds up all around you.
Had to cut through a lot of those things with box cutters over the years. Those thick wrapping.
Yeah. Anyways, Beanie Babies.
Yeah, no, this is a really interesting glimpse into a completely different world when it wasn't as connected. So, like, you could just see if, like, you could use the internet to find out if, like, a store in another state was selling something and then get it when everyone else was just relying on, like, word of mouth or calling places. This was a huge, if you were a collector, the internet was a huge leg up.
Absolutely. And, yeah, it was just like, it's weird to say that, like, it was a huge leg up, and your instinctive thought is to go, well, why didn't everybody just look on the website? It's like, because a lot of people didn't have computers. Oh, yeah. This is 1999, man. Like, our TV was still in pencil. Like, it's we were a primitive species. You know, we didn't have what we have now.
Yeah, so to sort of wrap up this overview, another fun thing about this is that there's a Chicago connection. Tie Inc. was headquartered in Oak Brook, Illinois, and the suburbs of Chicago was a big starting ground for a lot of the early Beanie Babies collectors. Like some of the women that pop up in this are Chicago moms. So it's just, this has a very strong Chicago. They even have a little I Love Chicago Beanie Baby I found, which is quite cute. So yeah.
I'm putting a prediction in now that a lot of these moms, if you pull up any pictures of them, I'm just picturing in my head that they have the big bangs, like, you know, in the 90s when moms would have, like, they would tease their bangs out, so they had like an invisible croissant of bangs out in front of their face. We had a teacher in grade school, I don't want to say her name, she's probably still alive, but she had those teased out brown wet bangs in front of her face all the time. And she was like, oh my God, so mean. But I don't know, man. There's so many other things I could say about this person, but we don't have to get into it. I just remember seeing those bangs all over the fucking place.
I don't know. So that's definitely a blast from the past. This is very much the time that this is taking place in a lot of those types of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like just sort of an example of like the type of people that this was big with is a woman named Peggy Gallagher. She was the first professional Beanie Babies appraiser, and I found her website. She's still using bbabies@aol.com as her email address. Like,
I don't know. That's for some reason cute to me.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like, well, it's. I still have the same email for 30 years. It works. Why not? You know. Also, it's like Beanie Babies. You're kind of wedded to the 90s already, so why not embrace it? It's very cute.
Babies. And she has a logo. This is a Beanie Baby collector that she has a logo that is, Peggy Gallagher Enterprises, which, side note, pro tip, listener, if you start an LLC, don't put your name in it, because if somebody, you have a limited liability company, right? So that if in the actions of your company you cause somebody harm, they sue your company, they don't sue you, hence the limited liability. If your company has your name in it, they can, like, there's a stronger legal argument that it's like, I'm actually suing you, the individual, which has unlimited liability. I mean, don't take it from me, I am not a lawyer, but that's what my lawyers have explained to me in the past, because I wanted to name my company the Winslow Domain International Hyper Corporation, but they said it's probably not a good idea to name your company that. So here we are. But yeah, just a pro tip for all of the young hustlers that listen to I'm from the internet.
Yeah, but if you make your business name have your name backwards in it, that means that when you get sued, you actually make money. So you just got to know how to do it right.
Exactly. Take a note from a la carte enterprises. You say his name backwards and you get taken to the chaos realm. Get the Orlock suit. Anyways, here we are.
One of the little case studies of Peggy, like in the early days of Beanie Babies, and a good illustration of like what type of money kind of got people involved, was one of the figures I found was that she flipped a $2,000 order of German Beanie Babies into $300,000 American. Just among those finds, 30 Chiller the Polar Bears purchased for the equivalent of $7 each. Within a year and a half, those sold for more than $1,800 each. Her 36 Peking the Pandas were worth around $2,000 each. 84 Old-Faced Teddies were worth $1,800 each. 36 Trap the Mouse Beanies, $1,200, and 12 Patty the Platypuses at $800 each. Like, this is an era where these retail for $5 each. These are being flipped for so much more than they are originally worth. This is such an interesting secondary market at play here.
I have like 7 things to say right here. 1, Chili the Polar Bear, fine. I get it. I like, some of these are like, okay, Patty the Platypus. I see it's a P and a P. Great, fine. Chili is not a name, but it's fine. It's kind of cute. Whatever. Peking the Panda is like not racist, but it does give me the glimpse into the Paul Newman, or no, it's the Trader Joe's. I'm thinking of the Kyle Kinane joke about how Trader Joe's has they used to have, like, you could get Trader Joe's brand like frozen enchiladas, and it would be Trader Jose, and he's got a big old sombrero, and then like he just had different racist caricatures. And so I think Paul Newman did that too, where like they had like Paul Newman in like a rice paddy hat, a pad thai hat, where like, or and he would have like a Fu Manchu and all that shit. And so when it's just one of those things where it's like, Peking the Panda, totally fine. Like a panda, Chinese, like that's a fine name. But it opens my mind to there's probably some slightly racist bear names in here. And I'm kind of curious to find out. And then you hit me immediately after with Old-Faced Teddies worth $1,800. Old-Faced Titties is definitely Old-Faced Titties sounds like the name of like a Cenobite who has like two huge tits with old lady faces on them. And then you hit me with Trap the Mouse. Trap hard fucking name, dude. For a rapper? Name just you're not like, come on. Just like just go by Trap, that's hard. But Trap the Mouse, that's sad. That's like hi, I'm heart disease the uncle. Like, that's fucked up, man. That's brutal. Named after the thing that kills you? Jesus Christ. Hi, I'm Women Dumaine. Jesus God.
Hi, I'm mourning the widow. How are you doing?
Mourning God. Anyways, yeah, so they were slinging things for money, and like, there, as a person who sells things for a living, there is this kind of like thing that happens in your head when you buy something for X amount and you sell it for X plus Y amount, that I think what happens in the human brain is the song Powerhouse by Raymond Scott starts playing quietly in the background of your skull, where like, this is like very small potatoes, but when I was first selling on the streets of Chicago, I ran prints of some of my my early tarot card designs, and like, I would sell them for $10 on the street, and I would go, I paid 98 cents to get this full color 11 by 17 print of this drawing. And then I made $9 from it, and then you just hear in the back of my head, dun 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 dun. And like, yeah, exactly that. I used to have that on. I probably still do have that on CD, actually. What happens is that you see this with like young comics and young hustlers that are trying to make clothing or make merch of some kind, is that they go, I bought 50 prints and I paid $50, and then I sold them for $10 each, making $500 minus the 50, $450, right? So if I buy 450 prints, then I sell those for, and then you just imagine all of like, it's the tweet about the guy who's like, making $1 million is easy. Buy a tomato for $1, take the seeds, plant them, grow more tomatoes, and then sell those tomatoes for $1 each. But take more, plant those seeds, and like, he's just explaining, presuming you have infinite land, infinite water, and infinite labor, yes, you can sell tomatoes for $1 million, right? But you can't ever confuse product with profit, because boy, howdy, I have thrown away thousands of dollars of things that would never sell. And so this is where you start to separate the people that have made a few bucks and the people who are like into business. And a lot of people would hear about Patty the Platypus going for $800 and think, oh, I'll go to the store, buy those, and do that. And that's not how that works. All of that to say, these are the peaks. The other side of the bell curve are the troughs, and obviously the majority of them are troughs. Yeah,
and I know there is like some cognitive bias. I can't remember the name that makes us like assume that past behavior is going to be replicated when that's not the case in markets and businesses and such. So, but yeah,
no, it's also, not.
I guess before we move on from I do want to mention Peking the Panda. I looked around. There are two other panda ones named Ming and Dynasty. Like, that's about the level of naming that these are at. That's not a joke. There's literally a Ming the Panda and a Dynasty the Panda.
Then we get into the famous Beanie Baby divorce.
Hell yeah. Because one of my points here at the intro too is also that, like, I think part of the reason there was like this sort of backlash to Beanie Baby, similar to like Kill Barney humor and such. I think a part of it is because Beanie Baby collectors were kind of like proto Disney adults, where it was like these very ridiculous looking grown up people that were squabbling over these tiny little things that aren't actually worth anything. And this what Winslow referenced is the exact thing that comes to mind for most people when you talk about that. This 1999 divorce court in Las Vegas, where this couple going through divorce are having to basically do a draft for their Beanie Babies because they can't agree on how to split them up. And it's just like this was reported on the news. The guy was scolding them. He's like, well, apparently you need to use the resources of the court, including the stenographer, and just completely just like scolding them for being this immature about their divorce. And they scurry up and are explaining like, oh, that one's worth the most or whatever as they grab their little toys.
It's just crazy that, like, I don't think, like, with the exception of a handful of people on the red carpet, every single photo you've ever seen from the 90s, people just look like shit. They just, like, our clothing looks like shit. Dads are always wearing these, like, fucking running shoes. Polos are everywhere. Women are wearing these, like, boxy-ass pantsuits that just don't make any sense. And she's got, like, those like chunky rubber moccasins on. I don't know. Boat shoes, no socks, gross.
Yeah.
I don't know, dog.
Two people doing a Slav squat in the middle of a courtrum is pretty funny. I feel like you don't see that very often in America.
How often are garbage bags full of toys brought into a courthouse? This and the TV on the cart in the background. Yeah. Oh man, that dates it. That's crazy. Everyone in this picture is dead. Yeah, it sucks. And like, I mean, it's funny that none of this is worth anything now. I mean, I guess if you'd be like, I have the original Beanie Baby from the famous, divorce Beanie Baby photo, I would be like, all right, that's worth an extra buck. That's funny to have because that's a piece of internet history, right?
Honestly, that would be very on brand with Beanie Baby marketing. You're leaning into that scarcity and collectibleness of it all.
Yeah, I mean, there's only, like 200 Beanie Babies in this picture? That's pretty limited. There's never going to be any more. There was only one divorce.
Some of those teeny beanies are still in the bags. It means they're worth more.
It's true.
I learned a lot about Beanie Babies writing this. So.
Yeah, dude, I bet you did.
Yeah, and also just in general, like it's like there are so many great pictures of Beanie Baby collectors.
Oh,
like
wow.
I included this one because look, she has the elephant that he mentioned. We're going to learn about that elephant later and why it being blue is so important. But yeah, just these wonderful like these two aunts. Just like it's like their Beanie Babies are nesting on them.
Yeah, it looks like they're a statue, and then it's just like the debris that's collected in the crooks and crevices of them. But yes, this is the softest focused photo you've ever seen. And it's crazy that you put all of their lips together and you have maybe one normal person lip. They're so fucking thin. Every part about them is very sharp and crisp and white, except the photo, which is, they definitely put some Vaseline on the lens for this one.
Yeah, as someone who spent a lot of time in a 90s Joann's fabric store, I could smell this picture. Like, there's so many, this is like a whole class of women.
Yeah, I mean, the velour shirt and then like this enormous, like padded coat that she's wearing. What we're describing here is a like Sears family portrait of a two white women. You didn't need us to tell you that. And you said that when you said that they were aunts, did you mean that literally or
not literally? I meant like in terms of like the type of like their vibe. Like they look like your weird
okay,
aunt,
yeah, because they both have the like very similar noses. But yeah, one has crisp platinum blonde hair, and the other one has kind of fuck, what's the name of the other one's got Andy Richter's hair. And so I'm imagining it's just like a lesbian couple that collects Beanie Babies, but just the 90s fashion on display here is pretty rough.
It's so good, yeah. So we're gonna learn about it. And also just one other thing to sort of really emphasize like why people kind of look down on Beanie Babies fans. There was a book called Beanie Baby Stories. I learned about it from Sean Baby's podcast, so I'm only going to mention it briefly. I don't want to copy his homework on this, but it's basically a chicken soup for the soul book focused entirely on Beanie Baby collectors and their personal inspirational stories. So Winslow, if you could read this page, Hooked by Mary Jo Hawk. I think it's a very goth.
I never wanted to get hooked. Actually, I inadvertently started collecting Beanie Babies because I belonged to a fan club called Peace. Of course, when I found out there was a Beanie Baby named Peace, I knew I had to have it. Naturally, I fell in love with it. A short time later, I was shopping and spied Baldy, the Beanie Baby eagle. Well, my husband is bald and he loves eagles, so I bought Baldy. Shortly after that, I discovered Blackie. My dad always called me Blackie when I was a little girl, so I added the black circus bear to my growing menagerie. Before long, my collection had grown to 105 Beanie Babies and 12 teeny beanies. Little did I know when I was first purchasing these cuddly critters how much therapeutic value they would have for me. Due to multiple sclerosis, I am frequently confined to my home. There's one room in our house that is my sanctuary, but these days we call it the Beanie Baby room. On days when I feel blue, I look around at all of my babies and they make me smile.
There's like 4 different things that we could mention about this story. I don't know.
My sanctuary is the Beanie Baby room. Just like the picture that paints.
My husband is bald, and my father called me Blackie. Oh boy!
Here, honey, I got you. It made me think of you because it's bald.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless you're like one of the strong balds, that's like fully chrome dome, that's a different story. But yeah, I don't know. It's like if they had one called like Acne the baby or Acne Acne Pig, and they gave me Acne Pig, I'd be like, fuck you. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Yeah.
Acne the Pig is a great. Somebody should make one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my little intro out of the way. I figure because I'm me, we should probably learn a little bit about teddy bears themselves and where they come from, because Beanie Babies are ostensibly like, mutations of teddy bears. And it's weird to think that both teddy bears and Beanie Babies were invented in the same century. Like, it feels like teddy bears should be a lot older than they are.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, no, I think I know what you were saying, or what the story is for the teddy bear, but do remind me.
Yeah, the apocryphal story of the teddy bear is that Theodore Roosevelt was out hunting and somebody brought him a tied up bear cub and he refused to shoot it because it wasn't sporting. And that was like a story that got circulated when he was like running for election. So teddy bears became kind of like, originally it was like a political thing, and then but also they became toys as well, like that sort of. Almost like there was a political thing that made those bears a thing, and then the toys were actually kind of an existing thing. I found out in the late 1800s in Germany, they started making these stuffed bears, the Schiff company. But America didn't really start getting them until the 1900s when we had, that's why they call them teddy bears still, because they were so associated with Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, I guess it's just like it's so ingrained in our understanding that a teddy bear is a teddy bear, and like that's a whole genre of things.
Yeah, it came with the universe.
It came with the universe. I see, there's like this Japanese thrift store in Chicago, and they have all of these different things. And I just think, look at all these teddy bears. They make a teddy bear snake, but a teddy bear's got to be a bear. And so it's what I'm looking at is a stuffed snake, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I guess it's funny that how did we settle on, if you remove the teddy bear aspect of it, how did we settle on a very scary and strong and very easily able to eat you animal as a toy for our children?
Yeah, I guess the closest I can guess is that like bears often in different cultures have like strong associations of motherhood, usually like a mama bear with her baby bear. So I think that's sort of the thought process is like, oh, that's why they give girls like little baby dolls. It's also like, oh, let's give them a little baby bear as well. It's like, that is kind of one of the pictures I found in the research that was very fun was the kind of moral panic around teddy bears, where there was this sort of idea that like, little girls need to play with dolls to build their nurturing instincts. If they play with teddy bears, they're not going to learn that. And of course, also because the time it is, it's all tied up in race science. There's all these wonderful little quotes about like about committing race suicide and such.
I do have to say the other reason that teddy bears exist is because bears got those ears, man. It's just insane. Like, an animal with fangs and in like the most terrifying claws you've ever seen on a mammal. And then they have these little fucking ears that are just like, come on, dude. I don't even like animals, but a bear's ears are like just upsetting how cute they are.
They're very cute.
So a bear cub, what a charmer. But the full ass bear, get the fuck away from me. That's all I'm gonna say. When I see a bear in the wild, I mog. I just squat down. I butt mog. Like that rockabilly chick. Did we ever figure out who that rockabilly chick is from the butt mog picture?
Not to my knowledge.
I sound insane. If you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about?
Literally that. There's a picture of this, like, she's not rockabilly, but she's got like a black mullet and like a big she's wearing like a leopard print skirt and a black tank, and she's like just squatted down, revealing her large posterior. And then there's just like some kids in the background that aren't paying attention to her at all, and she just says, I butt mogged these Zoomers today, which means, what that literally means is I showed off my big huge ass to a bunch of children to like intimidate them with how huge my ass is, it's a silly post. It's not the most insane thing I've seen today, but if you've never been on the internet, that is a bizarre thing to do. Like, I'm gonna go find some children and threaten them with my large ass. It's like that's something Wario does. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's how you get their lunch money, by like, I'm gonna sit on you. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, unrelated to Beanie Babies, butt mogging is a subject for another episode.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. So
I would hope not.
I guess I think it's just like, also like teddy bears had been around for so long that we've had like generational fads and stuff with them already. Like in the 1930s, when pandas first started being brought outside of China to America, there was a fad for teddy pandas. That's why I sent this picture a couple of days ago. I love it so much. It's so insulting. Just clown of the zoo. This old 30s newspaper headline. This baby panda in an actual like baby's like bassinet or like a cradle. It just looks like it does not want to be there. It's just like, this is a joke to you, I'm a clown. Like, it's so good. Yeah,
it doesn't look like it's the most comfortable with its arms kind of like angled up over
literally the first panda we've ever had in America. We were figuring things out as we went with them.
Yeah, it is kind of funny when you look through the history of like us finding a new animal. We just treat it like a human baby, where we're like bottle feeding it and putting it in a baby crib. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to turn out to be a person. Like, you're not going to eventually like, it's like that thing. I can't remember who it was that theorized that if we just fed Japanese people like hamburgers, eventually they would become blonde hair and blue eyed. Do you remember that? Have you heard about that? It's like everything about you is your diet, and if you just eat like an American, you will literally become like, you will gain the physiognomy of an American. That was a theory for a while.
I think that was one of the Metal Gear games I didn't play.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just the horrifying old teddy bears from the 30s when they didn't know how cute things were.
It's the handling by the children that pills the fur down, that makes it look like they were just put in the dryer on high. And so you have like these different kind of mutated and shocked looking bears that all look like they have varying degrees of fetal alcohol syndrome. Yeah. These are pretty rough looking teddy bears, panda bears I'm looking at here.
Yeah. Like, that is what they will give Beanie Babies, is that like, old stuffed animals used to be not anywhere near as soft as they are now. And the thing is, they use like new synthetic fabrics, and also they use plastic pellets for filling. Especially they understuffed it. Usually when stuffed animals are stuffed, we overstuff them to make them really soft. This time they're like, no, we want them to be more posable than cuddly. So they were very sort of, and also in terms of design, they were very uniform and minimalist. Like, if you look at a predecessor to Beanie Babies in the 60s, the Dakin Dream Pets, they were more about being ornate and unique, whereas the Beanie Babies now, they were more about, like, it's very obviously sort of a template almost. Like, there's a house style. Where this one, they're all very vivid and different and colorful, and it was kind of neat to see where these came from.
These look like they're made like they look very modern. They like the aesthetics of the What were these called again?
In the West, these were called Dakin. The company was recent, but this was like a South Korean toy line that a Western distributor started imported and selling here, which is kind of why these are different styles for all of them too, because it's sort of like just this Korean company's catalog, and they're like, sure, we'll sell these.
Yeah, they're very pretty. Yeah,
they're very cute, and like, they were stuffed with sawdust, so they definitely weren't as cuddly as like another one. That was kind of why they were really cheap. That's one of the things that they did was
That's. I mean, you got to stuff it with something. I don't know. That's just funny to me.
Yeah, and also this is one of the first things that Ty Warner, the founder of Ty Inc., that made the Beanie Babies, ever sold. He worked for Dakin, and he sold these stuffed toys at them. And I found a picture of him from around the time when he started making his own stuffed animals. So this is the guy who made the Beanie Babies, Ty Warner. Yeah,
wow. I'm going to be real. Looks like he's wearing another man's face. It looks like he definitely kind of looks like he's pulled on one of those rubber masks, like clean over his head, because there's this. It's so plain and expressionless, and his eyes are set so deep that it definitely looks like he's got some horrifying secret. And he's also one of those big
cosmetic surgery people. So even at this point, I'm sure he'd already gotten a few procedures.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it that he does look like he's like made of synthetic rubber. But yeah, he also looks like he's got a lot of cosmetic surgery. I do like that he's sitting at his like artsy drafting table, looking very astute with his like he's got his tie on, and he looks like he's really deep into this art project. Then you look at what he's drawing, and it's the clumsiest fucking thing you've ever seen. It's very much like
it's a monkey.
Yeah, it's super fucking clumsy. It's very much it's like there's some reaction image I've seen from a million years ago that's like this really advanced artist's table where they have like every single color of colored pencil and all of these markers, and it's all really aesthetically organized. And then you see the art on the thing, and it's like this completely dog shit drawing of like some One Piece character. And it's just like, yeah, you bought all of the things, but you did not actually do the job. Yeah. Yeah, so this Frankensteinian ghoul is drawing a very clumsy monkey in this very tastefully shot black and white photograph.
Yeah, literally rolled his sleeves up to do it. This is a very cool picture. Yeah, and you can kind of see his influence with those Dakin toys in his pre-Beanie Babies plush. Like he made stuffed animals for a decade before the Beanie Babies, and you can see like they have the same tag, but these are his cats. They're not in the Beanie Baby proportions and size. They're just cats.
Yeah, and they are all... we mentioned it earlier, but they are all very distinct. Like there's one of them kind of doing like this slutty come hither pose. There's one that's like doing the ass up in the air, doing a big cat stretch. The other ones in the back are just kind of like Beanie Babies, but cat shaped. But they're a lot. These are a lot more like articulated, whereas like the average Beanie Baby is like, you were right, it's just cut from a template with like a different embroidery. Like they were just banging these things out, man. Because it's more than just like making a design. It's like getting the fabric purchased and cut, and like every new stitch for every little articulated limb is this extra level of work and design, and they submit their corrections, and you have to change it back to get it back to where you want it to be, and da-da-da-da-da. It's like so many layers that it's just like, yeah, just that's why the vast majority of people that sell customized merch are just buying something else and having somebody do something to it, you know? Doing a completely top to bottom customized thing is so much work.
Yeah, from what I said, that was kind of one of the things that made him stand out early on, was he was one of those like super perfectionist type guys who was really into like there was like one of the anecdotes in the book was that when they was at the toy shows, he would be out there just like sort of like obsessively brushing the cats in between visits. Like whenever somebody came over and played with the cats, so he'd have to brush them again to make them look as fluffy and big as they could. Just like that image, or there's a quote here under it from the book that's pretty good. It says, "You can make a lot of money with a good cat," he once said. Like,
yeah, he reminds me of any of the characters in the movie Best in Show. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
just like excessively preening and like meticulous over this thing that like maybe he and like a select cadre of weirdos cares about, but like no one else on planet Earth gives a flying fuck about how fluffy your stuffed cat is. But it's just like you've picked this one thing and you're absolutely dedicated to it. There's very little distance between this guy fluffing his fake cat and the guy that's injecting synth oil into his biceps until it gives him like some sort of blood disease. It's just like you're obsessed over a thing nobody actually cares about, and it's gonna destroy your life.
What if Ty did both of those though? Like, it would definitely be a pretty attention getter to see a guy with like giant Popeye muscles at the toy show in the '90s, being like, check out my beanbag toys, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. See, that's the thing is, I've been like, now that I have some more free time with the game being out, I've been trying to get back into lifting, and I want to be huge because I want to be huge and also really nice. Because I think it's really funny when a guy is like swole, but also sweet too. The problem is I can get huge. I am not a nice person. So I'm going to have to really work. I can get the first one. I can't get the second. I'm too unpleasant. But you know, I don't know. I'm sure that there are also dudes that do that exact same thing too. I mean, if there are like vegan QAnon Nazi furry gay guys, then I think that there's probably at least one bodybuilder who cares a lot about stuffed cats.
Nah, that'd be a good gimmick. Like you go to the muscle show and you're doing your poses and making like the Beanie Babies on your pecs dance and stuff. Like,
yeah, dude, that's what I want to see. DMs are open.
There's this really good industry quote I found from the book. It says, "The plush business is for people who aren't nice enough for the garment district." And yeah, this very much like Ty Warner does not seem like a very nice person. If I've been reading a little bit, would you like to read this quote here below that?
Yeah, he definitely makes me think of like the Devil Wears Prada lady, just like a cutthroat business person in an unassuming genre. But yes, okay. This is a quote from Paul Roach about Ty Warner.
He had no close relationships. They were close insofar as they served him. There were no relationships with men, only if he could get something out of you in the moment. No real friends. None. That was part of this guy's problem. He didn't have a lot of contact. He was into work and pussy in that order. He was a very persuasive character, a salesman. He was endearing to his customers, and ladies loved him. Once you scrape the surface away just a little bit, he was an asshole.
Yep. I know. I've known people like that. I know I've known people like that. I say through gritted teeth.
I mean, this is a guy who's literally setting up for booths at conventions. I imagine this was a personality that like would probably lend itself to different industries that you're probably adjacent to. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, and it's I mean, I think it's a little, I guess, yeah, naming the company Ty after yourself is one, I guess, just a little confusing. I would like, when you say Ty, what are you referring to? Are you referring to me or the company? You're going to have to say that 10,000 times. But yeah, I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people in the vending and arts business that if it could make more money as a butcher, they would do that. You know, if I know a lot of people that are like, their whole thing is like selling quirky outsider goth art. And I'm like, I get the sense from them that if it was 10% more profitable to sell like yeehaw, Cracker Barrel, country themed like home goods, they would just do that. Like if there wasn't a competitive market for that with like Marshalls and TJ Maxx, they would just do that. You know, not a lot of people actually care about the things that they make. Not me, baby.
Unfortunately. Yeah, not me either. I spent a lot of work on that. In the yeah, and I also think that Winslow mentioned like a joke that I got from some of the people who worked with him is that the logo for Ty Inc. is literally his name inside of a heart, and like they said that was a pretty good encapsulation of him as a person, like his attitudes.
I think that you could read that as being very very arrogant. Like, look, he named his whole company after himself. It's also like an extraordinarily shrewd business move because Auntie Anne's, there's so many, all of like the good wholesome breakfast grains that I take on the road with me are named like Samantha's secret recipe, you know, or whatever, where it's like, yeah, you want to buy a product from a human being and not from like another faceless conglomerate. And so that's like, that makes perfect sense. You know, that's why I wanted to name my company Winston Domain International Hyper Corporation, but unfortunately, not a good idea. Though I did option the idea of calling my company, all caps, JonBenet Ramsey is Katy Perry's granddaughter. Katy Perry is JonBenet Ramsey's granddaughter was the whole name of the company, and my lawyer was like, "That's probably not a good idea to have somebody else's name in there." What are you gonna do?
Not the Zodiac Killer LLC.
Yeah, well, no, it was Local Crime Syndicate LLC, but the one that I will eventually go for is Test Company Do Not Tax, I think is really funny. But yes. So Ty made some toys for a while, and then he starts Beanie Babies. Was there any impetus for like why he switched from what makes Beanie Babies different?
Well, I think in terms of in market reasons, first off, the market was kind of changed. Like over the 80s, a lot of these mom and pop toy stores shut down as sort of big box stores became more popular. And also just in general, kids didn't buy toys from toy stores as often. When they bought them, they were usually from big box stores. They were from gift shops. Gift shops became more of a face in buying toys at this time. One of the ones that became big early on, I dug up a picture of it. Just there aren't as many of these places now, but if you live somewhere touristy, they'll have these. I know Florida still had some of these types of places,
for sure.
The giant wizard head in Kissimmee. I remember that's probably the most famous one.
Holy shit, that rocks, dude! Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, Florida has a lot of really good gift shops like that. They're kind of attention getting. So there's tourists going through this. It's if someone's on their way driving to Disney World, you get their attention, giant wizard head. I
mean, okay, dear listener, I struggle to explain just how impressive this shop is. Okay, there's a dentist office on my street, just down the street from me, that has an enormous lower mandible out in front, and then there's full-size mannequins with novelty wings in front with huge 7-foot tall toothbrushes cleaning your teeth as if there are fairies cleaning this enormous mouth. And it's such a startling thing to see every day that's in the rain, it's kind of shifted color. What I'm looking at here is I imagine you just searched Florida Wizard Gift Shop, right?
No, I've driven past this before. It's in Kissimmee. This isn't my picture, but yeah, this is one of the coolest ones I've ever seen personally. If you've ever seen the movie Florida Project, it features briefly in that as well. Okay,
because it is a large gift shop. Imagine a Barnes & Noble. It says gift shop in the front, and then coming out of the building, I mean, probably 20, 30 feet tall, because he has this huge beard, is an enormous wizard with a pointed purple wizard hat and the cuff, the popped collar, and he's holding a scepter in one hand that might even have fire coming out of it. And then out of the other hand is this cluster of stars. It's huge. It is taller than the building itself by maybe twice. If you count from the tip of the beard to the tip of the scepter, it's enormous. I mean, you have to be my profit margin is going to be so insane because I'm going to be paying the mortgage on a wizard's beard for the next 25 years. Wow. What an accomplishment.
I'm going to post wizard head if I ever get the chance. If you go on Google Maps and search for giant wizard head, it takes you there. It knows what you're talking about.
If you go on Google Maps and search giant wizard head, it'll take you there. It knows. It knows. That's great.
Yeah, I thought this learning about these gift shops was kind of a neat bit of background. Because when I was a kid, I remember when I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, they would have these ads for a local fabric place that sold Pokemon cards. Why are these places selling Pokemon cards? It's it's because these are places that used to sell Beanie Babies, and Beanie Babies crashed, so now they're trying to do the next thing. Because but for a lot of the 90s, these little gift stores and craft stores would sell Beanie Babies.
Yeah, I remember all that. I remember going to the grocery store next to the grocery store that my dad used to go to, and they had the plastic case with all the Pokemon packs in there, and I would always get the Japanese ones because they had the unique art. Yeah, awesome. That was good. Good times.
Fun times, yeah. And Here we go. And I guess just a little more about Beanie Babies as a basic concept. Like, they were created, to be marketed as collectibles, but they were priced to be accessible to kids. Like, they were $2.50 wholesale and then $5 at retail. Like, even now in 2026, Beanie Babies are only $6.99. Like, they are still very inexpensive little toys. Like, that's why you see them next to checkout at big box stores now. It's,
Yeah. And like now they're actually for children. I don't know. They're just ugly. I'm sorry. Yeah. And it's funny that when you see because they make bluey ones, but like the only trace of the original self of the Beanie Baby is in the fact that it's like the half stuffed, very floppy style. Like it's because the actual Beanie Baby design principles don't translate to making a version of Bluey, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the things in the 90s that made Beanie Babies unique, was that they refused to do licensing or cross-promotion, with a few very big exceptions. So, a bunch of companies wanted them to make Beanie Baby versions of characters, and they wouldn't. And the fact that now that's basically their whole business is these licensed ones is, kind of like a good indication of like how far their star has fallen.
Yeah, tragic if you think about it.
The basic premise behind it's the same thought process as stuff like the Franklin Mint or Precious Moment figures, where it's something that doesn't have an intrinsic value, but if you sell it as a collectible and use the idea that there's a return of investment you could get on it, then people will pay more than it's actually worth. Like, to keep it themed with this, like the Franklin Mint, my grandma had a couple of those plates when I was a kid. I had no idea it was part of this weird thing where the idea was, oh, you buy them and they get more valuable, and then you could sell them one day for even more money. And of course, the fact that every thrift store in the world is still full of these things is all the proof you did that didn't turn out right.
Yeah, except when I go there, Betty, because I buy those things and put them in chaos bags. They're just like the tackiest little painted plates you've ever seen. But also some of them, I always think this is so funny because I'll see like a lenticular Jesus picture that some like 1,000-year-old racist woman will have in her in her trailer, or like a commemorative plate. But instead of a painting of Jesus or of a teddy bear or of whatever, it's just a posed photo of a doll of whatever. And they just take that picture and then they just use that. Instead of drawing it, they just take the picture of their little diorama and then they print that on the plate or on the lenticular or whatever. It's so fucking lazy to me, because like I've seen some of them where it's like clearly they just had like a small statue of Jesus that they like surrounded with flowers or whatever, and then took a photo and then printed that, and it's just like, what are we doing? You're selling a picture of somebody else's statue? Like, it's this one step removed that always kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. That's why I don't personally vouch for painted plates that are full of lead for my personal eatware. But yeah, all of that to say, it's trash and it never actually got more valuable.
It is, and you could do a whole story about just that, about the whole market behind how they intentionally manipulated it and created like a fake reseller market and such. But yeah, just
about the at the Precious Moments headquarters. I think it's at the headquarters. They have like a life-size Precious Moments statue of a Precious Moments firefighter carrying a presumably alive body out of 9/11. Have you seen that one? It's crazy.
No, it absolutely tracks.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It is just like it's the same way that that Vampire Survivors milks your dopamine. It's just another company that's just kind of milking your sympathy glands by having these big milky-faced babies. What if 9/11 was just babies? Which is the concept for that.
Sad Baby Industries. How may I direct your call?
Sad Baby Industries. Oh, you say there's been another shooting? Henry, get out your brushes. There's been a shooting.
Get out your lathe.
Yeah, God. Truly the lathe of heaven. Jesus Christ.
Beanie Babies were introduced in 1993, and it didn't really blow up for a while. It was around 1995 that they sort of discovered their secret sauce by accident, where they had this really popular one named Lovey the Lamb, where it was a lamb with this very sort of fluffy, like fleecy type fur. Mm-hmm. And they had to discontinue it because their supplier stopped making the fabric that they were using. And so they had this popular toy. People kept asking for it. Eventually, instead of telling them that they weren't selling it anymore, because if they did, people get mad at them. So they go, well, it's been retired. And when they retired it, people would call them and like buy up more of the existing ones because they didn't want them to, they were afraid that other ones would get retired. They wouldn't be able to have them. And so they were like, oh, well, basically they sort of arrived at the concept of artificial scarcity through first principles, if you believe like the tellings of it that I found. Even if it was intentional, that's still kind of the same endpoint. We're just like, yeah, they've artificial scarcity. They retire the plush toys after a certain amount of time, and they don't announce it beforehand. So you never know how much longer you'll be able to buy one. You never know when it'll be gone forever. You never know when the one that you have sitting on your shelf will suddenly be like a scarce, rare collector's item.
It's funny to think how they had a Chinese fabric manufacturer that's like, hey, we don't sell this fabric anymore. And Beanie Babies was like, oh, okay, then I guess I have to change. And you just think that like, you'd be like, no, I'm going to order a stupendous amount of that fabric. Keep making it. I'm paying you. Like artificial scarcity has always like bugged the fuck out of me. Obviously it helped out in their regard, but I don't know. It's just funny to think like how market pressures will change all of this. Because if that had never happened, who knows what they would have done?
Exactly. Yeah. Like they weren't doing amazingly well as just stuffed animals. It's really the speculative element that made them what they are.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like a nice fabric. I don't know. That's all I have to say for that. Yeah,
I understand that's one of the reasons that one was so popular. Is it was really popular at hospitals and give it to like sick kids because it was very soft.
Right. Yeah, I bet it absorbs a lot of fluids. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 1995. 1996 is when the Beanie Babies really start to explode in popularity, in part because now there are these dedicated collectors trying to buy up the Beanie Babies as they come out because, they want to get the next Lovey the Lamb. They want to have one in case this happens again. And also in general, like the Beanie Babies, especially the early ones, they had a lot of errors in them. There'd be misspellings, there'd be misprints, there'd be sometimes the guy would make changes to it after the first couple batches without changing the actual SKU or products. You'd have like, well, as we'll learn, we'll go into one of those later.
1996, Antichrist Superstar is released. Beanie Babies explode in popularity. 1999, Columbine, Beanie Babies collapse. Who is behind it all? What one artist is behind all of this? Bear with me. And then I pull down a chart and I've got it's just his face and then the Beanie Baby the end, and it's just a straight red line. It's this.
And then I realized this YouTube video is 4 hours long and not 40 minutes long like I thought. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Beanie Babies, B, Marilyn Manson, M. Think about it. He was in a movie by Michael Moore. There's photos of him with Mandy Moore. Eminem, the rapper, M&M, Marilyn Manson. They worked together. They collabed on a song. It's right in front of you. Anyways.
And so I guess like having this existing collector's market sort of amplified it because you'd have all these people going around to these little stores asking if they had Beanie Babies. And so the stores would start stocking them because they had people asking about them. Those people would buy it. People would see them by the register and be like, oh, what are these things? Beanie Babies, huh? Just keeps growing and growing outwards into a genuine phenomenon. And I guess like I was sort of referencing earlier, this is when collectors start noticing that there are different versions of stuffed animals. Like when I talked earlier about Old Face Teddy, that's what this was this was referring to. They have one called Teddy that's just like a very simple brown teddy bear. And originally he had like a much different, more pointed design. They redesigned him. And so Old Face Teddy is the old design and New Face Teddy is the new design.
Wow. I mean, I'll be real. Both of them look like shit, but yeah, because they're not stuffed very much at all, which I want, like, there's got to be some math of, like, how much money they saved in the lifetime of their company by not stuffing them terribly well. Not just for the fact that they're not spending that much on the plastic pellets that go inside, but the fact that you can fit, like, 50% more Beanie Babies in a crate because they are so flimsy. Old Face Teddy, pretty ugly. New Face Teddy looks like Christy Gnome. Like, it just looks like all stitched together. Actually, well, that's too easy of a joke. I was going to say it looks like Byron Gnome's tits, but I've already said tits one too many times in this episode and it doesn't make me feel good. So here we are. They look like shit.
And I know we mentioned Peanut, the royal blue elephant, a couple of times. Now we get to learn about that because it's maybe the most important example of how these changes made them valuable. So here we go. There's the two of them. On the left, there's the original Peanut, which is royal blue. And on the right is the softer blue, or the light blue one. And what happened was, Ty Warner, he was somebody where he would just sort of fiddle with designs if he wasn't happy with them. So after the first couple thousand of Peanut are made, he's like, I don't like this dark blue color. It's not really working. It should be lighter. So he changes it, and it's still the same product with the same tag and everything, but now it's light blue. And so now there's only a couple thousand of these dark blue ones that will ever exist, and everyone wants them. They become like the holy grail of your collection. And the cultural impact of this as object desire is so big. Even now, almost 30 years later on eBay, you can still find scammers trying to sell the regular ass light blue Peanut the elephant for an exorbitant amount of money as if it were the dark blue one. Like, this is still something that people are just like reflexively associate with selling with for a lot of money.
And I do wonder, well, one, how many of these auctions are being completed, right?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't doing these examples. Nobody's fucking buying these things. It's just very funny that like people are still sort of dangling these out there being like, hey, I remember 30 years ago I read something kind of like this. It might work. You never know.
Okay. During the break, I'm definitely going to look on eBay, look at the auctions, and see the most recent completed auctions and see what they're going for. Because I feel like they're probably in lots.
No, so like individual ones would be like $7, basically as much as it would cost to buy a new one at retail.
Because there's one Beanie Baby that we haven't mentioned yet.
It's coming up.
That I really want to buy. It's coming up. That is just like so insane that they did this. Oh my God. Oh, dude, this is so fucking weird. Yeah, it's just like the way that one thought leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. That is like... Some of the decisions that they made as a company are just like, why would you do this? Like, you did one thing as like a commemorative thing and you thought that was okay. And so that you just kept, it's just weird. Weird decisions by a weird man. This is all we have for part 1 of the Beanie Baby saga. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but you just fucking buckle up because it's going to get weird. And we will be back next week with even more. And if you want to find out more about us, again, we have that Patreon, $1. We got like at least 50 episodes up there. There's tons of good stuff. So please check that out. Also, we would really appreciate, just take a second, give us a like, a review, some stars, something like that. That would be very cool. Anywhere that you get your pod. And on that note, please do me a favor, dear listener, do me a favor. Go to boardgamegeek.com. Find The Restless. Not Restless, The Restless. It's got a handprint on the cover. That's my game. Do me a solid. Give it a good review. For whatever reason, at least one person gave it a 1-star review before the game even came out. And so any time that it gets a good review, it puts me up higher in the numbers, and it also makes it look like a better game for other people to buy and wholesale in their store. I would really appreciate anybody giving it a review. That would be very cool. You can find us at IFTIPod on Twitter, IFTIPod@gmail.com for questions and stories and ideas for any of that. We also have a list of episodes that we are planning to do and things that you could submit if you want to help us write an episode. We'd love to work with you. Please let us know. And you can find me at winslowdomain.com, winslowdomain on Twitter, and calculations on Instagram. And hop on the Discord, and you can find out all about my new game and all of the other fun things I've got going on. And Jay, where can they find you?
I'm Jay Brandstetter on Blue Sky, and my link tree is in the show notes.
All right. Easy enough. We will be back next week with even more Beanie's Baby. I'm From the Internet is created by Brandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Is Broke.